Hey everyone. Today, we'll dive into a user's question from Discord. They needed to separate guides, make them standalone objects, and work with them. Actually, separating guides isn't necessary to work with them individually. There's a great feature called Isolate, which lets you isolate selected guides or a group. Sometimes, though, you do need to separate guides into a separate object. Before, this was done by cloning the object and adding. This allowed applying new modifiers separately. Now, Ornatrix 5 introduces a new feature, branching. You no longer need to clone the entire object with its stack using Edit. Duplicate special with the Duplicate Input Graph option. That's not needed anymore. You work with a single stack. Let me show you the old method and why the new approach is better. Old method. Select the object, click Edit, Duplicate Special. With Duplicate Input Graph, we duplicate the object and say select specific guides. Delete them, hide the original object, and work with a subset of guides. But this is inconvenient because you can't groom the entire hairstyle as a whole. You don't have a single object controlling the whole hairstyle. Sure, you can apply different modifiers, but the downside is you can't, for example, groom just one part of the hairstyle. You end up with two separate parts, requiring you to delete guides separately, which takes time, and grooming one part becomes impossible. Now, let me show the new approach. You don't need to duplicate the object anymore. Select Main Guides, name the object, and right-click to create a branch. You get a copy of the object, a branch you can work with, applying various modifiers and so on. In the user's example, there are 3 groups, but let's assume there are 2. Say, you want to work with one group and apply modifiers to it, while still controlling the entire object and grooming the whole hairstyle. How do you do it? First, create 2 branches. Right now we have one. Click on the main modifier, Create Branch. Now we have 2 branches, Hair 1 and Hair 2. Each has its own modifiers, and you can add as many as you want. For example, HairFromGuides can be applied separately. Watch, I'll hide the branches, go to Main Guides, and assign groups. Let's say this is the second group. Using Ctrl-Shift-I, we invert the selection and assign the third group. Now, let's address the user's first question, how to select a group like the top part. Even without branching, this was possible in older versions. We choose Select. This selects the entire group, and we click the button Hide Non-Selected. This isolates the part you want to work with. To bring everything back, click Unhide All. That's how you work with a specific part. But what's the benefit of branching? First, you have a single object, where all changes like grooming apply to both Hair 1 and Hair 2. You can work with separate parts. For example, in Hair 1, select and assign HairFromGuides to the second group. See, it applies only to that group. HairFromGuides is in Hair 1, but not in Hair 2. You can assign another HairFromGuides to the third group, which will be in Hair 2. I'll hide. We see the third group. You can hide all main group guides and keep the guides of the second branch. In HairFromGuides for this branch, click Use Guide Faces to control the number of hairs in this branch. You can assign a different ChangeWidth. For example, a radius of 0.05 here, copy it, and in Hair 1, set a radius of 0.03, say. This lets you create different fur, undercoat, and more. For hairstyles, you can adjust beard thickness and other settings. Now you have different HairFromGuides and modifiers. It's convenient. Different settings, but shared guides. Go to Edit Guides, select, for example, the second group and groom it. Changes apply to all hairs, unless Affect Selected Only is enabled. You can control just one group. This way, you groom carefully, affecting the second group with its modifiers, while, say, the first group doesn't need clump. The first branch doesn't have it, but the second does. Hide guides to avoid interference, and in Hair 2, add clumping. It applies only to this branch. You could apply clump to a group. working within one object. But separate branches are often more convenient for different settings, like with animals. It's super convenient. This way you control each part and apply settings to this object. That's all I wanted to show in this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Wishing you great vibes. See you next time.